Hello. Good afternoon. Actually, almost evening. It's almost 6. So I had a great trip. Now I'm going to use this as my marker to keep myself in camera. So I'm going to be using my new tool that I got from Paper Bead Crafts, which is this. If you do not know, please check out her channel. Her name is Julie, and she does a wonderful job. She's who I took inspiration from for starting my paper bead making. Uh-oh. Glue from my hand. And all this is just leftover scrapbook paper from a project I had done where I had a box that I just put craft paper over the top of, and that's what I did. So, but I'm a little bit tired today. I just got back from my trip. I went to Chicago. Oh, shoot, I didn't show it. This is what they're turning out looking like. So, looking pretty cool, although I don't know if I really like the big hole. Don't worry about the flat end there. When you put the grommet inside, you won't see it. But, yeah. So, it's just 2 pieces of scrapbook paper, one gold, and one, it did have a pattern on it, but not in that corner. And, oh, I hate that when my Fitbit thing turns like that. Isn't it? Since it's rubber, it's hard to turn it back. Alright, I want the gold to show, so we'll put that on top. And these work just this one works just the same as any other ones. It just has a bigger hole. This is intended for me to make those European style beads with eventually. So that is my intention with these. I don't know. I may super glue them in after I varnish them. So, but I haven't even varnished anything in over a year. So, yeah. There's that anyway. Here's another one finished. I don't really like the way these are turning out with that big hole. So, I'm going to ditch the big hole one. And is this my tiny one? This is my tiny one. Give me a moment. I'll just be right back, okay? So, bye for right now. Hello. Okay, so I'm back. And this is my original tool. See, as you can tell, they all have glue on them except the biggest one. And I pulled out the number 3 one, so that would be, whoops, there we go. 1, 2, 3, the 1/8 one. And all right, let's continue rolling, because I had to find which one would fit. I thought number 2 would fit, but it didn't. So I had to go to the number 3 one. So here we go. Just that hole was just too big. And I think my husband might be home, so I might end up actually having to finish this video as it is, because he likes to make funny noises in the background when I'm making my videos. And my dog is acting like he's home, so I don't know though. I think somebody might be mowing, and that's just what she thinks is. Whoops, gotta go over my mark here to keep me in the middle. All right, so that looks a little better than this, you know, with the whole difference. But it's a preference choice, what you like. Like I said, I don't know, I haven't gotten used to it. See, I made a few of these bigger beads with the big hole one too. I think they look nicer with the bigger hole. But I've got several of these to work on. Like I said, it was just leftover paper because I had taken a 12 by 12 paper pack, 2 different colors, and cut it into 4s, you know, so I made them what, 6 by 6 squares. So I guess that's what this would be 6 by 6 paper pack pieces, because, and there's only 2 of them because, like I said, I used the rest of them on a 6.5 by 6.5 square box that had a lid, and it looked nice, and they were leftover boxes from somebody. I helped a friend of mine. I think I had made a video about showing the boxes and doing them a while ago, but that was like maybe last summer. That's when I helped her move, and she allowed me to take a couple of those boxes home. So that was nice, and I've been using them and giving them to people after I put decorative paper on the outside of it, and then I'd put Mod Podge on it, and then I would I think then I would put a clear coating on it, because Mod Podge it feels tacky even though it's dry. I don't really like the feel of Mod Podge. I think it's because it's the glossy kind. I don't know if you know the answer to that. Please put in the comments below. That would be helpful. Or if you can suggest something that's like Mod Podge that does not get sticky and tacky after it dries, let me know in the comments below. That would be wonderful. Crafters got to help each other, you know. If you want to make these paper beads, go ahead and do so. I mean, they're never going to look the same as mine, so I'm not going to get offended. And I certainly did not, you know, I did not invent paper beads, so I don't know. I started doing these because I needed something to do instead of, this is what I used to help me sober up in the beginning parts of staying sober from drinking alcohol, because I'm a 3.5 year recovering alcoholic, so far 3.5 years. Yay. That's better than no years, and realizing that I have a problem, so, you know, and I don't want sympathy. Do not give me sympathy. I'm past that point. I don't need sympathy for knowing that I'm an alcoholic. One of my parents was an alcoholic, and I don't know if it runs in the family or not, but yeah, I had just discovered that, or, you know, I finally had realized myself that I had a problem with where I would want to just drink, and enjoyed it to the point where I wanted to get drunk instead of just having an enjoyment out of it. Anywho, so there's that one. So here's the pile I did earlier. I'm going to finish this, actually. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more to go of these little tapers. But I'm going to finish for now and just talk a little bit. So I'm going to show you some of the paper beads that I've worked on. And this was a full magazine from a book. Oh, see, here's I cut some of those papers as tube beads. And actually, I did something here. And I tried to be creative, and I messed it up because I didn't like the way they turned out. Don't you roll away from me. Oh, they stick together. Okay, so I tried making, these are the first two that I used, and I tried to make them look like traditional European beads, and I don't like the way they turned out. And what I did was I cut them at 3/8 inch long taper at 12 by 12 inch. Then I cut a 3/8 to 1/4 inch, 12 by 12, and then I cut a 1/4 inch to, 12, a length of 12 inches down to a point. And I just, rolled them as is, and this is what they turned out looking like, and I just didn't like the way they turned out. So I've still got to work on my measurements and whatever. So then I ended up making some tube style beads out of them. And yeah, thought those turned out kind of interesting too. And then I made little tubes with some of these instead of tapering them. I made little tiny tubes, obviously with my #1 roller, because if you're going from this size here to this size hole, it just looks like such a tiny micro hole. But anyway, that's what I was working on. And all these chunky beads here I made with a magazine. Whoa, don't you roll away from me. A magazine. Sorry, they keep rolling away. A magazine, a Hy-Vee magazine. And it was the whole thing. And it was, each one of these has 14 pieces of magazine paper in one taper. So, yep. All right, well, I'm going to put these all back. I'm going to start with my little beads first, and then I'll put my giant beads on top. So, that way I can show you a difference. Or not a difference, but I can just show you, this is how much I got from one magazine with, I don't even know how many pages in it has, but that's what I got. And I cut these at 7/8 of an inch. Yeah, so I thought I'd cut them at 3/4 of an inch, but these are 7/8, and there are a couple 3/4 of an inch ones in here, like these ones here. These are 3/4 inch. So I like the shape of these here. Let's just use one as a comparison with the 7/8. And I like the way this one came out versus this one. And I think they look nicer with the big hole for these big chunky beads. And I did put my grommet inside here, and it does make them look a lot fancier. Now I can go and I can leave these like this color, or I can use some acrylic paint and paint them at this stage, and then I can paper or PC petrifier and polyacrylic them and make them hard and waterproof if I wanted to. Now that's a choice I could do, and I could even get a small fine paintbrush and paint inside here black, although I'm not going to worry about it because I do have those grommets. Now a grommet, if you don't know, or if you call them something else, are those little silver eyelets that, you know, you put inside of those European style beads. I think that's how you pronounce that word. But anyway, here's the rest of those. So yeah, now I can leave them like this, or I can paint them. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet. But there, I'm all finished. So you have a great rest of your afternoon or evening or morning or whenever you happen to be watching this. Thank you for watching. Bye.